2021 had a bit of crunchy energy. Some of the words that come to mind are constricted, consolidated, focused, building, examining. There was a lot of focus on the small. 2022 is going to bring in a lot of fresh energy. So there's still going to be this invitation to work with the mundane as sacred and the small as beautiful, but there's also going to be the opportunity to zoom way out and see the big picture of your life. So if you've been feeling in the past few years like you've been missing the wider view of why you're here and what it all means, I know that I have. 2022 is going to bring you this ability to really see this bigger picture and to understand why you're here on this planet at this time. I'm Asia Suler of One Willow Apothecaries, and I'm an earth intuitive. Much like astrologers read the patterns in the heavens to understand what's going to be coming or what's ahead, I read the patterns here in the earth. I connect to the earth and I ask the earth to show me imagery and to give me messages to understand what might be coming in the year ahead. So the image for 2022 is the Great Plains and the prairie wildflower. So there are two images, and they're both important because they work together. So there's going to be this invitation this year to really get comfortable with this oscillation of moving between getting this wide, big glimpse and view of your life, and then again focusing on the small, and that's that prairie wildflower. So let's start with the prairie wildflower real quick. We're all probably familiar with this from the past few years. This invitation to focus on the small, to look at the details, to live small, live life where you're focusing on family, your community, your block. We've kind of become experts at that in the past few years, but there's a new tinge to this year. It's the invitation to focus on the uniqueness, the rarity, and the beauty of these day-to-day rituals, the mundane things that you do to keep your life going. I once met a prairie biologist, and I could listen to her talk about the prairie ecology all day long. And one of the things she said was her personal mission in life was to help people understand that prairies are not just endless monotonous grasslands, that they are full of rare, endemic, beautiful species, wildflowers that only grow there and nowhere else in the world. The same is true for your day-to-day existence. It might seem like the endless monotony of the same thing over and over again. But the reality is your day is also full of these rare, beautiful, precious moments. And there's the invitation this year to really see the beauty in those moments, to be present with it. You can kind of imagine this visual as getting your magnifying glass and getting up close and personal with one of these rare prairie wildflowers and just being in awe of its physicality, its beauty, of this now moment. So the nice thing about focusing on the small is that you feel like you have control over your day. You feel like you have control over the moment. But what's challenging about it, and I know you've probably found this in the past few years, is that it can start to feel like you're disconnected from the why, from the bigger picture. And that is why I'm excited about 2022, because this year we also get the Great Plains. I was so excited when this imagery came in because Lord knows I am ready for this. So with this imagery of the Great Plains, imagine that you can go from looking at this little flower on the prairie to flying all the way up to see the whole view of this plain. Now, when I'm talking about seeing the grand view here this year, I mean the grand view. There is going to be the opportunity this year to get glimpses of not just the coming year or the next 5 years or the next decade, but truly get glimpses of your soul's purpose in this lifetime, of the reason why you came to this planet with all the things that are going on at this time, the reason why you're here. Now, this long view is so sustaining to get a glimpse of. It really can help give you solid ground to stand on when things start to feel a little shaky. And I know for me, it can feel like such a relief to get this bigger picture, to understand that yes, you are here for a reason and that your soul has a particular mission here on this planet. Now, these wider glimpses might be pretty big, and I want you to trust that bigness. So when I'm talking about getting a glimpse of your lifetime, of course I'm talking about something big, because you're here to do big things. You have big, beautiful medicine and energy to bring to this planet. So if you get the glimpse of something that you know you're meant to do in this lifetime, or an energy that you know you're meant to bring, and it seems really big and grandiose, please trust it. This is the best thing you can do to have more of these visions come, and also have more specificity start to come in about how you could make these visions a reality. So I'm not exaggerating when I'm saying that this year you might have the ability to receive answers to questions like, who am I? Why am I here? What is the reason for all of this? I really feel that the guides here on Earth have decided that we in humanity really need these glimpses, that we can't just keep operating in this small way, that we need to have these glimpses of the bigger picture to remember why we're here. Now, the ways in which we've become more acquainted with death in the past few years, and have drawn closer to death in some ways as a global culture, has actually helped prepare us to receive this vision, to remember that we are eternal beings who have come here for a specific reason, and that we're ready to remember that reason. And all the work that you've done in the past few years is what's going to give you this ability to see this wider view. So what's really important with this is, when you feel the need to rest, please know that those will be the days when you will often receive these wider visions. So it's important that you do rest. If you feel on a day like you can't push forward, you can't get the stuff done, you can't cross stuff off the to-do list, embrace it, because it's in the midst of that rest that you're going to get these glimpses. Now, we've covered the ability to focus on the small and embrace the big this year, but within all of that, there's a middle ground that we won't be able to see. So we have the ability to look at this beautiful prairie wildflower and to zoom all the way out and see the big picture of this great plain. But where our minds want to go often is the ability to stand on that plain or prairie, look to the horizon, and know exactly what's coming. It's just a function of how our brains work. We want to see what's on the horizon. We want to know what events are going to come up. We want to be able to be prepared. But the energy of this year is asking us to get comfortable with the fact that that's just not a part of our reality, that it's actually not where we're meant to function, and that's not something we can ever actually know. Here's why. When we focus on that prairie wildflower, it's focusing on the now moment. And the now moment is what it is. When we zoom out and we see this bigger picture, we're focusing on the eternal. The eternal is what it is. But when we try to look to the horizon and know what's coming, to know the trajectory of our planet, the trajectory of our lives, what we're trying to pin down is something that's always changing and always malleable. So when I tuned in, this was one of the messages that came through that really stuck with me. There is no one path or trajectory for humanity. To try and see that path is to take your attention away from where it is most richly needed. So in terms of what's on the horizon, that's changing. That is malleable. We don't know what that's going to look like. And to predict that is to take our attention away from where it is so richly needed and where it will make the biggest difference, is being willing to focus on the beauty and the profundity of our small actions in our day-to-day lives, and to embrace the wider visions that are coming in to help us nourish those lives and to take the next steps that we need to. Because the truth is, our spirits are happiest and most at home with the wildflower and the Great Plains. They don't need to look to the horizon. They flourish when we give them this ability to oscillate between this grand view and this smaller dedication. And I think this is a natural rhythm for human beings on this planet, that we are meant to be gatherers of a wider vision and tenders of the small. And ultimately, this is how big things are accomplished. So within all of this, let it be okay if the how is blurred. If you get a bigger vision and you don't know how it's going to happen, it's okay. These things take time, and they will unveil themselves with time. In the meantime, you will be receiving specific downloads of what to do that day, what to do that moment, to simply take care of yourself, your family, and your life. The earth is saying, take up your rightful place. gazing at the plain and the wildflower, and let me come up with the weather patterns, bring rain, heal, and sweep away. So, on a very tangible level this year, let yourself rest. Know that in those days of rest, when you are feeling very tired, that is when you are going to get these glimpses. So they're precious. And make sure that when you feel that urge to take a load off, that you give yourself permission to do so. Trust what you receive. The more you can trust that even though you don't know how these visions are going to come into reality, you don't know the how of it, it's okay. It's the energy of it that's here to sustain you and help you as you figure out the next step. It's okay to sometimes get frustrated with focusing on the mundane, but whenever you can, try to find the sacred in those moments, because focusing on the sacredness of the day-to-day is what will then give you that ability to zoom up when that opportunity is there and see that wider picture. And know that the smallest movements that you're making in your life right now are enough. So now I would love to hear from you. Going into this year of 2022, is there a small action that you know you can take to step into the direction of this wider vision? You're going to receive more clarity about this wider vision as the year goes on, but I guarantee you, you've already caught glimpses. So what is one small action that you want to commit to taking in this new year that can help you step in the direction of that wider plan for your soul in this lifetime? And if you know that one of the actions you're meant to take in 2022 is to start a business, then I would love to help you. I have a course called Business as a Spiritual Journey that was specifically designed to help empaths, intuitives, and highly sensitives flourish on the path of entrepreneurship and create the spirit-led business that their soul is here to build in this lifetime. The course is open for enrollment all year long, but it's only on sale this first week in January. So if you're interested, I'll put the link here for you to check out. And if you picked up on any energies with this new year, I'd love to hear about it. I am one piece of the whole, and all of us are receiving images, messages, and understandings about this new year and the energies it's going to bring. So if you have a vision of what might be coming up in 2022, I would love to hear that as well in the comment section below. So with that, have a blessed new year, everyone. Happy 2022.